Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Inside Voice podcast. I hope that you can see me around this color, okay? I know, very aggressive. Actually, I think I'm clashing with everything around me right now. This like dusty rose chair that I'm sitting in, like the pink light behind me, like this shirt does not go. I will fully admit, but I have to say, I bought this shirt. It's actually a part of a set. Like there's pants involved with it too. And obviously it's got orange and pink and blue and green and all sorts of colors on it for those that are not watching on YouTube. I bought it for vacation, and there's something about it that like I just feel so fun when I wear it. So I'm wearing it. And you know, thinking about the World Cup, like I am on just like another level right now. I am loving the World Cup more than I thought that I would. And this is not a knock to soccer. This is not a knock to World Cups in other countries or anything like that. But something about this being in America is just feeding my soul right now. It really is. To have the World Cup here, to have it be America's 250th birthday this year with 4th of July, to know that the World Cup is going to be continuing on through like July 19th, knowing that we're going to have people from other countries see how we do 4th of July. Like, I am beyond ecstatic right now. I feel like a proud little host. I feel like I think what I described it last week. I feel like, I don't have kids, but I feel like a parent that has been waiting for their kid to open this present on Christmas for a long time. And now they're opening it. And I am so thrilled. So I feel like it's more of a gift for me. And they always say that like when you give a gift to somebody, it's like the giver like receives more than the receiver, if that makes sense. Probably not. It's better to give than receive. That's the phrase. And I'm kind of feeling that right now. We are officially entering into another season of the Inside Voice podcast. For those of you that are unfamiliar, I did this podcast for a couple of years and then put it on the shelf, never thinking that I would do it ever again. And then last year, God told me, let's bring it back. And it's back. And I'm enjoying it. It's great. And we just hit last week 52 weeks in a year. So we are now officially kicking off season 2 of the Inside Voice podcast. And I'm thrilled to be here. And I'm so thankful that you are here as well. Whether you're an OG listener from back in the day or if you are listening fresh and anew, we are so thrilled that you're here. I always say we because I'm my own producer and videographer and copywriter and talent. So one-man show here. I guess I could put my dog in there. Yeah, he helps out. But I am just feeling such excitement and exhilaration this time of year for so many reasons. I mean, in addition to hitting that year mark of bringing the podcast back, like I talked about, like World Cup and 4th of July stuff has got me just like bleeding red, white, and blue. Like I'm on another level. And so this podcast, I hope, will just be encouraging to you and maybe a little inspirational and maybe a little bit of the kick in the pants that you need to get going on whatever it is that you want to get going on. Watching the World Cup, obviously it's fun to watch, our United States team and to watch all these other countries. It's inspiring to watch athletes perform on such a high level, on such a big stage. But what's really got me is all the videos on social media of all of these visitors and tourists in America. And they're experiencing the American things that are just normal for us, like large portions of food and free refills and chips and salsa at restaurants and rolls at Texas Roadhouse with that delicious cinnamon or honey butter that they serve, like they're experiencing all of that. But I've also seen an overwhelming number of videos, and maybe it's just my algorithm because I've been watching so many of them, but I feel like it's all over the place. An overwhelming number of videos of people loving us, loving Americans, loving just the way that we interact with one another. I mean, people from Europe, people from Africa, people from the Middle East, they're all saying the same thing. They're like, everybody here is so nice. People are friendly, they're smiling, they say hello, they look you in the eye. There was one guy that was walking through like a park, and he's like, it was the strangest thing. I can't remember what country he was from, but he's like, I'm just walking through, and this random person walks past me and goes, hello, how's it going? And he's like, that doesn't happen in my country. There's no sense of like, I recognize you are also another human on this planet. You know what I mean? And I think that's so incredibly beautiful and such a great reminder for us that that's who we are. We are a melting pot, the United States, and we recognize that not only do we have such beautiful diversity in this country, but we also have something unique in the fact that we do have so much diversity and we understand what that actually means. We understand that, and if we had forgotten it, we're being reminded of it with the World Cup, but like, there is freedom in this country that is not experienced anywhere else on the earth. Like, there are freedoms that we get to just enjoy and take for granted and forget about sometimes that aren't experienced in other places. And it's been so beautiful to see these tourists come in and just and experience it and to feel it and to understand it and hopefully maybe bring some of that back to their own countries. You know what I mean? I always talk about how it's great to travel. It's great to get out of your comfort zone. It's great to go to another country if you can, to experience how things are done in other places. And it's really cool to see that in reverse, you know? So it really has been so beautiful. And I think it's such a great reminder, like I said, of who we actually are. We are people that love people in this nation. We are people that understand and recognize that freedom is a necessary thing and it is something that is not experienced in other countries, and we must protect it at all costs. And we must allow that freedom to also change us and make us better and make us better to one another as well. And so my hope for this is that with all of this camaraderie that we are experiencing, with tourists in town and extending hospitality to them, but also just, you know, coming together and celebrating our team and knowing that we are the host cities for these games, which is so cool. And Canada and Mexico, yes. It is North America that's hosting. It's not just the United States. I get it. But so many of these games happening here, it's just been a joy. Another thing that I've been sharing a lot on social media is different cities' watch parties and the reaction of like our US team doing so well. God forbid that we had lost the first game. It would have been awful. But again, just massive crowds of people coming together, whether it's in the stadiums or whether it's out in the streets of other places that are hosting watch parties and stuff. Like, it is so fun to see that. And I know we get a little bit of that every so often with like the Olympics, and maybe that's the case in some, you know, scenarios with the World Cup that's being played in other countries. But again, like seeing different cities erupt in excitement and cheers, it's just a joy to watch it, you know, like I think, you know, just, I get so frustrated when we are constantly told, you know, we're awful people, we're so this, we're so that, we're not a united country. Like, I'm so tired of hearing all of these lies come in about us. And, you know, I work in broadcast, you know, you can loop me in and say I'm part of the media. I hate when the media does that, because that's not the truth. It's like, have you even walked the streets and experienced what life is like? I tell people all the time, like, if you're finding yourself getting so worked up on social media to the point where it makes you want to hate your brother or hate your sister or hate your, you know, this person or that person just because they disagree with you on something, like, you need to put the screen down and actually go out into the world, because that's not the case. That's not the experience. And we're seeing that in these videos on social media. Like, we are seeing these tourists come in and they're like, I'm not experiencing anything that the media has told me. what the media has told them, even in other countries. I don't know about you, but that gets under my skin as well. Like, we're being fed the mess here in America, but it's also like in the other countries, they're being fed that too about us. That's not right, you know? So yeah, it's been great to watch just just people fall in love with this country and get to experience it. I saw one video from one guy and I thought he put it so perfectly. He said, "The World Cup did not need America. Could have been hosted and played anywhere, but America needed the World Cup. The America needed not just other countries coming in and giving us this reminder and this great perspective, you know what I mean? But America needed the World Cup to come to America to remind us of how we love each other, to remind us of like, no, 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 this is who we are. We're not what they say about us. This is who we are. And it's just been wonderful to see. And, you know, I can even go down the tangent of seeing all of these, seeing Jesus move in the World Cup, you know, watching other countries come in and, you know, watching the teams on the field praying and carrying their Bibles, seeing people write scripture in other languages has been really cool. I just got goosebumps thinking about that. And to see them be so bold in their faith and feel so comfortable doing that. I think a lot of times, Christians in America, we forget that like people die for their faith in other countries. You know, there's immense persecution in so much of the world just for people believing in Jesus. So to see these countries come in and just feel so free, this is the freedom I'm talking about, feel so free to proclaim the name of Christ and to proclaim their love for him, like that has been so moving to watch as well. And to see, you know, our U.S. team do the same thing, praying after matches, getting other teams to come in and pray with them as well. Like it's really been such a beautiful reminder of the love of Christ and the reminder of, you know, we can be so caught up in our day to day here in America, but, you know, God is global and he operates outside of the globe as well. And to see that he's moving and working in other countries, and it's just been so beautiful. And there was another person that I saw on social media, they shared that watching Jesus move in the World Cup, watching people come together and pray, watching teams pray before and after matches and proclaim their faith, and watching different nationalities, different countries engage with one another, like the fans outside, like kicking soccer balls or learning cheers or dances or just engaging with one another, tailgating with one another outside these games. I understand that this isn't unique to America. Like this happens at the World Cup on a regular basis, but to see that on our soil just makes it like brings it home. But somebody said seeing all of that is such a little peek into heaven. And I thought that that was such an eye-opening thing to say, you know, even if it's not, oh, I see all these people worshiping or praying together, just seeing different countries together, different nationalities together, seeing beautiful cultures come together, like it's really, it's beautiful. And it's such a wonderful reminder of like what God made and how he made the world so big and wide and vast and people so unique and beautiful and wonderful. And it just makes you think that like every tribe and tongue will proclaim the name of Jesus. And we're experiencing that through the World Cup of all things. You know what I mean? I'm just obsessed with the fact that this has kind of become like this gateway, if you will, to experiencing Christ in a whole new way and experiencing the love of God in a whole new way. And just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to feel pride on behalf of Jesus. Like that seems a little wrong. But seeing people profoundly moved and so committed and driven to furthering the kingdom, and they're from other countries, they're on the other side of the globe. Yeah, there's like I don't know how else to say it other than pride. It's like, yeah, that's my God. That's my God working in, you know, South Africa. That's my God working in Japan. That's my God working all across Europe. You know, it's just, I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it. It started off as just, oh, we're gonna have a couple soccer games here, but I think it has really become just something so beautiful, mesmerizing, wonderful. Just I'm just soaking it all in on like a sponge, and in a way, I'm kind of like processing all of it right now with you. But looking at the way that we have just loved on people as a nation as they've been coming in, the way that we've seen other nations come in and love on us. And another thing that I wanted to say about this Jesus movement in the World Cup is I have found some people on social media that were like, I came to America to watch a soccer game and I left with Jesus. Like I have come back with this new hunger or this new curiosity or this new interest in Christ. And to think that they had that experience in America, like I think it just goes to show you that there's something happening in this nation. There is a revolution that is happening. There is a movement of Jesus. There's just it's a revolution. I'm trying to think of the other R word that I'm trying to think of, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But there is a movement that is happening in this nation of people turning to God, and I think it's beautiful. And this World Cup coming in, these tourists coming in, these other people from other countries, they're being affected by it, and it's going to start going across the globe. I get so excited thinking about it. Oh my gosh. Anyway. I hope that you have also experienced similar videos and you've been able to see this stuff on social media. And it really is beautiful. And I know that I knock social media a lot in this podcast of like, oh, it's propaganda and it's what's wrong with you. And it's, making you anxious and causing you to compare and holding you back. And yes, there are parts of social media that are doing that. But there are also like to just experience this has been wonderful. And man, it's got me so fired up, really. And as we enter into another season of this podcast, I just want to reiterate this idea of you've got something inside of you that you want to do, that you want to pursue, that you want to take on. You've got something within you that is meant for you to pursue, that is meant for you to explore, that is meant for you to let out of you. That is what the Inside Voice podcast is all about. It's what has been planted inside of you, you're letting it out. For me, it's the voice. It's me proclaiming things and saying things and sharing things that I feel like God is telling me to share. For you, it may be a business that you want to start. It may be a community that you want to build. It may be a family that you want to start. It may be a passion project, a nonprofit that is on your heart that you want to do. Please go do it. I cannot say that enough. Just go do it. We spent the last 4 weeks talking about dropping things that are hindering us, weights that are holding us down, jealousy and comparison, fear and anxiety, bitterness and resentment, insecurities and a lack of confidence. Drop those things and get out there and do what you are supposed to do in this world. You know what it is. I know it. It's in your mind right now. It's on your heart right now. It is heavy on you. It is something that you think about all the time. It keeps you up at night. It wakes you up in the morning. It gets you going. You have something in you that is driving you. Do not ignore it. What is it? Get out there. Get it started. Just take one step towards it, please. Whatever it is, get out there and get moving. And maybe you don't know exactly what it is, but you might have a hunch. You might be thinking, there's just something that, this bothers me a little more than it should. This tugs at my heart a little more than it should. I would lean into that stuff. Sometimes it's the things that hurt us, hurt our souls, that make us want to do something about it. I think about Christine Caine, and, she's a preacher. She's this wonderful Greek woman, and she has a human trafficking organization that she has started to prevent and stop human trafficking across the globe. And she honestly, that was not something that she had on her radar. That was not something that she was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do with my life. This is my purpose. However, she had a moment where she saw a sign when she was traveling, basically talking about this thing called human trafficking. She's like, I didn't even know what it was before I saw that sign, but something stirred within me. Something made me think, this isn't right. This isn't something that should be happening on our earth. Are you kidding me? It's the 21st century. Why is this a thing? So she chased after that. She leaned into it and now is running this massive organization to put an end to it. There might be something for you that stirs in your heart. There might be something in you that just you're drawn to it, you're pulled towards it. Explore it. Be curious about it, ask questions, maybe volunteer in a similar area, get involved somehow. Maybe just take one itty bitty tiny little step that gets you moving toward whatever it is that just tugs at you. You know what I mean? If you're thinking, well, Jess, you're coming at me kind of hard and I don't even know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm waiting for God to tell me. I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for this. Maybe I'm just meant to, just coast through life. No, you are meant to live an abundant life, okay? There's things out there that are meant for you. And maybe you're thinking, well, everybody else already does this, or this already this, or there's already that. Like, I can't do that because it's already been done a million times over. Hello, you're listening to this podcast. Nothing about this podcast has not been done before. This podcast has been done over and over and over and over and over again. Self-help, personal development, personal growth, self-care, call it whatever you want. Like, it's been done to the point where I've had that same conversation of like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. It's been done before. Nothing I'm going to say is going to be any different than what these super popular millions of subscribers people have said. You know what I mean? So why would I even try? But then again, it kept pulling at me, kept tugging at me, there was this stirring of like, no, I really take it personally when I feel like people are missing out on what they should be doing in life. They're holding themselves back. They are insecure, lacking confidence. They're not living life. They're not leaning into this big, beautiful, fulfilling life that I believe God has given them, has already promised them. You know what I mean? And I've shared this before about my mom. This is where my mom, I think I scared the mess out of her because I wanted to get out there and do things and try things and experience things and excel at things. And my mom didn't really have that in her DNA, to no fault of hers, like that's fine, but there is a part of me when I look back at my mom that I'm like, I just don't know if my mom felt fulfilled in her life. I don't know, because we didn't talk about it, maybe she was great, but I just see that there could have been more for her, and that bothers me. And I wish that I could have encouraged her more, or just been there for her a little bit more in that regard, because it is so important to me, so now I'm gonna push you. I'm a pusher, Katie. I'm a pusher. From Mean Girls, you remember that? But yeah, that's just on my heart, and as we enter into another season of the Inside Voice podcast, I just want to reiterate to you that there's something beautiful that you bring to this earth. You are a beautiful thing in this earth. God made you. God gave you purpose. God gave you the breath in your lungs. God has something wonderful and beautiful for you out there. And gosh, I would hate for you to miss it, really. I'm starting to think about that a lot more as I'm, getting closer and closer to 40, of this idea of like, nope, life is not over. There's still time. It always just feels like, like the sand in the hourglass is just disappearing a little more quickly than I'm comfortable with. But just thinking like, no, like I want to run full speed at whatever it is that God has. I don't want to get to heaven one day and he's like, well done, good and faithful servant. Can I just show you a little bit of what I had in mind? And then I'm sitting there going, dang it. That's what it could have been. That's what I could have done. But I was so stuck in my own ways. I was so scared. I was so insecure. I was so thinking about what other people were going to think about it that I missed it. I don't want that. And I don't want that for you either. So I'm not judging, and I'm not saying like, you're not happy, and I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong. I'm just saying that if there's something that has been pulling at you, go for it. And if you're already in it and you're moving and grooving in it and you're feeling like, yeah, this is exactly what I was put on this earth to do, bravo to you. I support you. I cheer you on. Please share that with me and keep going. I know that life isn't perfect and things come up and they're hard, but keep going. And remember, it's not what other people say about you. It's not what the media says about us collectively. It's not what social media tells you is you are or what's wrong with you. It's not what was spoken over you as a child or from a friend or a spouse or a family member. Your identity is in Christ. Go to Him to figure out who you are. Go to Him to figure out what it is you are called to do. And I hope in that process, you fall so deeply in love with Him that whatever He says, hey, let's run towards this, you grab His hand and you run with Him. As we begin this next episode or this next season of the Inside Voice podcast, I am so excited to not only, continue down this path of living authentically and chasing after the things that we want in life. But I am so excited to hear your stories. I am so excited to see what you're doing in your life and maybe a little bit of how this podcast has helped you. I don't know. Again, I know that I'm called to do this regardless if anybody listens or not, and I'm just excited, I know that the World Cup is really helping me with this excitement, but man, it's hard not to be inspired watching all of it, the games, the fans, the tourists, the unity, the patriotism. Like it is so beautiful to watch. And man, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. But I didn't have a lot of a big agenda for this podcast. I kind of just wanted to put a lid on last season and get ready for next season and just encourage you and remind you once again that I believe in you and I love you and I am cheering you on with whatever it is you are pursuing in life, whatever it is that you are chasing after. And I just think you're wonderful. Thank you so much for being here, and here's to another season.